Hi, I'm Gavin, and welcome back to the Sound Project. All right, so today we're here with DeLeon. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us at your studio.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it's really cool to be in here when it's all finished, and you know, I know that this was a big project for you, and now it's a reality.
Yeah, man, I just got to figure out how to pay for it.
Right, that's the only thing.
Next step.
You know, we'll do an instructional podcast on how to pay for your studio right after this one.
Probably need to do that immediately. So,
I'd love to start with just you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and how you got into this thing.
well, I don't want to go through like the whole story because it's probably too boring. But
No.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was a little kid. I think I was like 4 or 5, and then I started. My parents were all musicians, or my grandparents and my mom were musicians. So
Nice.
I was always surrounded by bassoon, violin, piano, and then I never played those. I never played bassoon, but I played piano. So that was how I started, and I loved that. Then I was in choir and like all these other things growing up. Played trumpet as well.
Wow.
And then I figured out that guitar was kind of cool at the time. And so I started playing that at some point, and then it just kind of kept revolving. I kept picking up new instruments. I was a multi-instrumentalist. And then in high school, I was like, I want to record.
Yeah.
And so I started trying to record. I was able to do an internship in the city I grew up. I'm from Idaho,
Okay.
a little town called Moscow, Idaho.
Nice.
And it's I would always go down to this little shop downtown, and this guy would teach me how to record, basically.
Wow.
And it just revolved into me being like, hey, I'm going to go to college for this. So
Wow.
I went to Nashville after that, and went to Belmont University.
Nice.
I got a degree.
Very cool.
It was super fun, and I was surrounded by a lot of great studios. Very fortunate to do that.
Yeah.
And then I went to work in studios after college. I mean, that's kind of the brief story, but
Sure.
that's kind of how it happened. And then I frequented different studios in Nashville, which was super fun.
Yeah.
Then I had my own home studio, which was nothing like what you helped me build, but it was good enough for what I was doing. Lots of, like I said earlier, I ate a lot of ramen at that time frame because you kind of have to.
Making it through,
to make it through. But one of the funnest things that I did too, separate from studio work, was I worked with a nonprofit, and I was helping. It was Southern Word. Is the name of the nonprofit there.
What is it called again?
Southern Word.
Southern Word.
I loved working with them. They basically it's like an outreach nonprofit where we would go to different places like schools, libraries, churches, penitentiaries, and just bring studio gear. So I'd carry literally I'd take my my Camry, I'd fill it up with like a bunch of pianos and computers and microphones and stuff, and I'd just go around and teach kids how to make music.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
It's a huge part of my life down there, and I miss it.
Yeah.
I do miss it, but it was a really good time.
It sounds like super fulfilling because it's like when you can do something that you already have a passion for, but then you can share it with others that you know is going to change their life and make their life better.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
It was super sick.
Yeah. So how many days a week would you do that?
It was all every day of the week. So except for weekends. So I do it 5 days a week, and I go do workshops. Some like during the summer there was like summer programs, so I would go do that too. But I mean, like some of the most difficult days would be I wake up, I'll go do like a workshop. It'd be, I don't know how many, 4 hours, whatever.
Sure.
I come home, I'll have a studio session in my home studio. I'll have like a client come in and we'll record. And then I usually would have multiple clients because you have to, or else you don't pay your bills.
Yes.
And so I would have like 3 clients, and then it's 10, 11 p.m. Wake up, 7 in the morning, rinse and repeat.
Do it all again.
It's literally the grind.
Yeah.
So,
it's really cool though, because like at least it's stuff that kind of fills your cup versus like draining your cup. You know, it's
for sure.
Is Southern Word still?
They're still going.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know if they wanted me to leave, but so I'm sorry. I left, but I'm in Indiana now.
Yeah. So why are you here in Indiana?
So I was trying to figure out. It was in the middle of COVID, really, and for everybody it was tough, right? Financially, I'm sure. And I was looking for opportunities to survive, and I found Sweetwater, which I was already a customer of Sweetwater, which was really sick. So I had a really good guy.
Who was your sales engineer?
His name was Ryan Wiltermood.
Okay.
I hope I'm saying his name right.
Sure.
But he would always inspire me too. I would actually feel excited to buy gear, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But I basically talked to him about it. He told me about the job, and I was like, I might try it. So at first, actually, I talked to him before, like It was years before. He's like, oh, if you ever want a job, just come try it. And I didn't think about it. And then randomly, I got an email from them. Like, they were like, we're hiring. And I was like, why not? Give it a shot. I'll interview, see what happens. And they hired me, like, literally, I did the interview. And then, like, I swear, it's like 10 minutes after the interview, they called me back and they're like, we want to hire you. And I'm like, okay. It was like kind of freaky.
Right.
My heart palpitating. And I was like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should we leave Nashville to go up to Fort Wayne? And I did.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I'm here.
Yeah. Now, since you went through their sales engineer training program, and you had 3 hours with me on acoustics, do you remember anything about that day?
Nothing. No, I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, so I give that training, and it's like 3 hours is a long time to sit in training, but I try to make it at least interesting.
Absolutely.
And talk about some different things.
No, if I didn't have your training, I don't think I'd be able to sell it the same way.
That's the thing, it's good to just have talking points and have a general understanding of it. But I mean, the training course is pretty rigorous. I mean, I think
it's tough.
13 weeks or something
it's like
that.
A full, what they call it, Sweetwater University. Some people kind of, they call it like a master's degree or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, comparing it to Belmont, for me, it was more difficult.
Wow.
In that short period of time. If it was longer, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Right.
But it was cool.
Nice. So you've been at Sweetwater for 3 years or so then?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
2021, that's when I started.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. You enjoy what you're doing there?
I do. I actually love doing it. It's fun because I get to do, I mean, this is what I love.
Yeah.
And then I get to talk to people about what I love and help them solve their problems and
That's awesome.
help people. That's what I do.
That's
my
awesome.
whole life. So
well, and also it allows you to have a really cool studio at home, right?
It does. Yeah, it does pay the bills. So thank you for that, Sweetwater.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, we had known each other for a while, but then like you had contacted us about, hey, is it just something you could help me out with? I got this room in the basement, and
I think I asked you at your training. It was like, I think I came up to you afterwards, and I was like, do you do home studios? I was like, can you give me a deal? And I'm like,
for sure.
You were like, maybe. No,
no, for sure. It's and you showed me originally like some pictures of the space, and I came here and did some testing, and it's just like I'm really curious actually if this was what you envisioned when you said, hey, can you help me with the studio?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would get this crazy, I guess. Like the room feels like it's not the same. I feel like I'm in a spaceship or something, or in a dungeon shuttle. I don't know how to describe it, but I did not expect it to turn out like this.
Dungeon Shuttle Studios has a nice ring to it, I think. Maybe you call it that.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you use the studio. Like what kind of clients do you bring in, or is it mostly for yourself?
A lot of it these days, because I work at Sweetwater, I'm a busy guy there. So a lot of times it is for myself. I just love making music. I guess it's a passion, hobby. And I want to release content too.
Yeah.
And so I haven't released anything like recently because I've been busy with work, but I am going to.
Yeah.
I have friends here that, fortunately, a lot of the people that I like trained with, they're some really incredible musicians there. It's just like Nashville. Like I'm surrounded by these great people, and so I like to collaborate with friends.
Yeah.
That's one of the things we do a lot, and I'm bringing in bands too. So we got a band coming in. Hopefully next month. We're trying to figure out the plan still. And this is the tracking or the control room basically. And I like to do mixing too, but it's just a production studio, I guess.
Do you gravitate towards any style of music that you typically go for?
I mean, back in Nashville, I would do kind of anything, right? Just to make money, you know? But I did a lot of hip hop down there, did like R&B vocals and lots of indie rock too. Never did country.
Really? In Nashville, yeah.
Sue me. I don't know.
That's great. No.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think everybody kind of feels like Nashville is all country, but it's not.
It's not.
You know,
it's everything.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really freeing. So
yeah.
So you say you have friends come over and record. Yeah. What's their thoughts of this place?
I think they're a little shocked at first. They're like, why is this in Sean's basement? Because it's really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people are surprised really when they see it. They don't expect to open those doors and they're like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
So
yeah, because otherwise it's like a typical basement.
It just looks like a door.
Yeah.
Like, that's the sump pump room.
Yeah.
No, it's a studio.
No, it's an actual studio. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things about all the clients that we work with, especially when it's a home studio in a basement or something like that. It's like you're walking down a hallway and then suddenly you open a door and you're in a different world. You know, it's like a
really
totally different thing.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So when it comes to obviously finding that balance, I find it hard myself, like between being busy at work like you are with Sweetwater, and then trying to be creative, because a lot of my job is creative during the day, and I'm using that part of my brain, and then sometimes I want to turn it off at night, and so it's sometimes hard to transition into being creative again. Do you find the same?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes you just come home and you just want to not do anything.
Play some video games.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point too, you kind of have to almost force yourself just to get in there and just be like, hey, we're just going to spend 2 hours working in the studio, see what happens. No goal, just go, let it rip. So
yeah, that's cool.
I mean, you have to try.
Yeah, you have to. I'm curious too, like with your background in music, like, do you still play all those instruments, or is it?
Yeah, I do. I play. I mean, there's a lot of if you look around, there's guitars.
Yeah.
That's probably right now the instrument I play the most is electric guitar. I play bass. Been playing bass for like 23 years now.
Yeah.
And I play piano, have to do productions.
Yeah.
And then a lot of finger drumming. So that's like one of my favorite things to do is to like program drums.
Sure.
Not with like MIDI, but with my hands.
With your hands.
So,
yeah. I think, I don't know. I don't have that skill, but I feel like I would rather do something physical like that than click around.
Absolutely. It feels more vibey.
Yeah.
So it's more fun.
Yeah. That's really cool. Have you ever played in like bands and things like that, or
in
you
college.
do mostly?
Yeah, in college. Okay. Not these days. I mean, maybe one day. We actually jammed with some of my buddies recently. We were like, oh, we should start a band. So maybe. But in college, I was in a couple bands, and I was the lead singer, guitar player, like rhythm and
was
singing.
it like indie rock type stuff?
Indie rock and like funk kind of music. So that was we never really popped off or anything, but it was super fun. We did because we just loved it. You know,
that's the thing. I mean, that's why I'm in this industry at all, is because I've been a musician most of my life, and it's but my degree is like mechanical engineering with a robotics focus. So it's like I want to combine those and then create things like this.
What do you play? Like, I
play guitar. And sing in a band, and it's all original stuff. It's my favorite band's Wilco, so it's kind of in that vein, you know.
I think I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. Huh. I definitely like that. So we don't play as much as we used to because of life and busyness and kids and all that stuff, but we're trying to write some new songs right now. So
do it, man.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I actually, like I've said this before, but I have a goal of someday like having an album where every song was recorded in a different studio that we designed.
Come record here.
I will. Yes, this will be on the stop. And also this is an easy drive. It's a couple hours away.
Come hang out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, man, I think that this the space turned out great. I mean, I know that it was different than you thought, but I mean, it's one of those ones where I show people pictures of it or the renderings that we did during the process, and they're just like, that's like my dream place, you know.
It literally is exact. My girlfriend wanted a sick kitchen. She lives here with me. Yeah. And I wanted a sick studio. We have our dream kitchen and studio.
Mean, that's a good trade.
It's a good trade.
Yeah, I think that was worth it.
It definitely is. I'm pretty lucky.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for making the studio. Super appreciative, and it's definitely like life-changing for me. So thank you, dude.
That's
appreciate it.
That's been another episode of the S.O.U.N.D Project. Thanks for being a part of it. And Sean here, he's played a ton of instruments in his life. I'm curious, what kind of instruments do you play? We'd love to know that in the comment section below, and we'll see you next week.